Boom! Sportsbit, Wednesday, May 9th, 2018. I'm Teddy Covers. Unfortunately, we have no Paul Howard today. He's having technical difficulties, internet issues. It happens on occasion, but that means I'm going solo for today's show. And we have a big show for you. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. We have top ROI pitchers in MLB. We're going to break down Celtics and the Sixers for tonight. We'll take a first look at the Big 12 win totals for football season, followed by shot clock and play of the day to close out the show. Let's get right into it. Start with a little bit of recap from what happened last night. A pair of NBA games, both series enders and both with point spread drama. We can call this one a bad beat if you like. The Warriors up 23 with 8 minutes left, 105-82. Final score, 113-104. Only 8 points in the final 8 minutes for Golden State. They don't get the money. The game stays under the total. And New Orleans got the money even with Golden State starters still on the floor. Warriors up big, can't close it out big. New Orleans gets the money even though Golden State survives and advances and the game stays under the total. We had point spread drama in the other game as well. The Rockets minus 11.5 / minus 12. They were trailing at the start of the fourth quarter, made their run. They're up 12 with 22 seconds left. What happens? Rudy Gobert gets the dunk. The Jazz don't foul. Houston wins by 10, laying 11.5, 12. The point spread drama was exciting. Was only happy if you had a Utah ticket in that ballgame. The Rockets survive and advance, but the Jazz get the money. Talk about the opener for the series price. Golden State, the chalk, even on the road, minus 185. The opener for game one. Houston, minus 2, total of 226. The opener next Monday. We'll break down this game big time on Monday's Sportsbit, the beginning of next week. Bad for the books last night. Boy, there was a whole handful of games like that. No shortage in that regard. Certainly, Milwaukee took a bunch of money. They were plus 185 to the opener, closed plus 140. They won the game 3-2. The D-backs, Dodgers were favored last night. After all we talked about on Sportsbet, the Dodgers were still the chalk. And you know what happened? They lost. D-backs took money. They got the money. Wild extra inning win over LA. The Yankees took the money, minus $2 up to minus 230. They stay red hot, the hottest team in baseball, and the books have not been able to adjust enough to keep the Yankees' money from coming in on a daily basis. Minnesota and Houston also took money and won last night. Neither of those two games good for bettors when it came to for the bookmakers when it came to MLB action. When it came to bad bets, well, the Warriors over, 227 bet up to 230. We saw those light scoring quarters in the second half. There were a pair of them. There was a 19-point quarter and an 18-point quarter. Golden State stopped scoring late. And the bottom line is that game stayed under the total despite all the over steam. The pace was there for most of the game. Wasn't there in the fourth. The total bet up from 227 all the way up to 230. The books got to keep all of that money. What else last night? Well, we have the no-no in Toronto. James Paxton becoming the first Canadian to throw a no-hitter in his home country with Seattle beating Toronto. There was a previous no-hitter by a Canadian. You guys remember this one, right? Dick Fowler on September 1945 for the Philadelphia A's against the St. Louis Browns. That's how long it's been since a Canadian has thrown a no-no. Quote, to have it happen in Canada, what are the odds? It's pretty amazing, just very special. And against the Blue Jays, you couldn't write this stuff, James Paxton, with the dominant effort, of course, from a betting standpoint. Well, Toronto took the money last night. Seattle pitched the no-no. That a good result for the bookmakers and a bad result for the bettors. The Angels took a bunch of money last night, plus 125 down to plus 105. They lost the game 4-2. Of course, the Phillies over 8 up to 8.5. That, too, was a wrong side. Bettors did not have the Phillies total right. When we look at early season ROI, and again, this is early stuff. There's a lot of randomness in this, but I think it's a good list to post and to post on a fairly regular basis. Take a look at which starters are actually making money and which starters aren't. And of course, a lot of it has to do with how they're priced into the equation. A lot of it has to do with how the team is playing behind them. Eduardo Rodriguez, the #1 return on investment pitcher in all of MLB in early season play, followed by Max Scherzer, Rick Porcello, Carlos Martinez, Luis Severino, and Michael Wacha. Interesting, with the 2 Cardinals on that list, Martinez and Wacha, despite the fact that St. Louis, mediocre in early season play. The Yankees have been hot. Boston's been hot. We know how good Scherzer are. Martinez and Wacha, sneaky good on that list early on. For the bottom ROI pitchers, and again, you want to take this something with a grain of salt. You're going to see bad teams on this list, but the one that stands out at the top is Clayton Kershaw. He's 2-5, and yet the Dodgers are minus 9.75 units in his starts. Homer Bailey winless, or the Reds are winless for Homer Bailey. The Royals winless in 7 starts for Jason Hamill. The Marlins winless in 7 starts for Jose Urena. Danny Duffy's been pretty rough for KC as well, but certainly Bailey at the top of that list when it comes to the most losses, since he 0-8 in his 8 starts so far this season. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.